My name's Hammaad Shafiq. I'm a pharmacist. I work in Bolton, from the northwest. Studied in Preston, UCLan, got my degree there, and my father had lung cancer, and I'm here today to share his story and raise awareness. My father, he got diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis, so he got diagnosed with fibrosis of the lungs quite a few years before he was diagnosed with lung cancer. And this was obviously due to various few factors, and one of them was that he smoked in his earlier days as well. So that contributed to the poor health of his lungs. And later on, very much later on, after his diagnosis of fibrosis, he was diagnosed with lung cancer as well. And sadly, about maybe within a year of his diagnosis, we did lose him. I mean, the earlier you catch something, the sooner it is you're able to treat it. And sometimes prevention is better than the cure as well. Even if a person has a history of smoking, or has a history, or is a current smoker, and say he's getting on a bit with his age, he's over his 40s, 50s, then it's always worth just getting checked out anyway. I mean, in my day-to-day job, I work as a pharmacist, a community pharmacist, so I'm seeing patients day in, day out. They always come to me with problems, or they've got certain symptoms that they may be not aware of, or they're not sure if they've got blood pressure. We'll always recommend getting checked. So we'll always recommend getting your blood pressure checked, or we'll always recommend going down to the GP and getting checked out thoroughly, because prevention is always better than the cure. Well, my dad went to the University of Life. He always used to say that. So he didn't go to college much, he didn't go to university. He went to the University of Life. And sometimes I'd say maybe these medical kind of systems and terminologies maybe went over his head a little bit. I was still studying at the time, I was still a student, so I didn't have much knowledge of it either. But I'm sure that the moment when his diagnosis first came for his lung problems and his fibrosis, he was already coughing a lot of the time. The symptoms were very, very much apparent. So in terms of prevention being better than the cure, he didn't know much. He didn't know whether to get checked up annually, or whether there were different pop-up screens available at the time to get checked out earlier. So obviously I think that would have helped in terms of getting an early diagnosis for him, and then maybe the treatment could have started earlier, and he would have had more of a chance to live a longer life. The advice that I would give is, it's firstly for your own benefit, but if that's not enough to get you there, think about your loved ones. Because I remember the moment my father told us about his cancer and stuff, it was a dark few days in the house, and alongside that news we got the news that there's no real treatment options. Now that is the thing that was hard to swallow. It's the fact that from the get-go you've got no chance. And that was a hard one to swallow. So I think for the people that are out there who may have certain symptoms, or even if they're asymptomatic, if they've not got any symptoms, and just for their own peace of mind, do it for yourself, but also do it for your loved ones. Because whether you're too apprehensive to do it, maybe even let them know, they'll give you a push. Because they love you enough, they appreciate you enough, and they want you around for as long as they can have you around. So I'd recommend not to hesitate, not to be apprehensive. Whether you know or not know, the situation's the same, so you're better off knowing. And it will catch up to you eventually. So, just be proactive, take the first step, and do it for yourself and your loved ones around you. And you'll stand a better chance at fighting cancer that way.